No, you're cute. You're cute. Oh my God, you're so cute. Hey, how's it going, guys? It's your boy Jarl. How's it going? It's been a while. Haven't uploaded since my week 8 of BBRD League Season 3, which was recorded before the end of the New Year's and uploaded a while ago too. I actually made like a 1 year anniversary of this channel. Haven't uploaded yet because I might do something with that. But anyways, so this is the first time I'll actually be fully uploading for a while, and that's because after some deliberation, some thoughts, some planning, your boy has made a Pokemon Draft League for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on Wi-Fi, and it's called King's Crown Draft League. So we're gonna have the logo here, kind of everywhere. You'll be seeing it. And yeah, I basically started working on it, I think just before New Year's time, pretty much mainly beginning of January, and by the time I'm recording it's the 24th of January, so things have actually picked up, started, and kind of going pretty quickly, which is really nice. I invited 12 coaches, all homies, friends of mine, or some people being like good recommendations, and people who are vouched for. There's a lot of homies that couldn't make it, but thankfully I have a lot of good other friends who was able to make it along the way and able to come in and join the fun. And yeah, I'm super excited. It's an Uber's Draft League for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Generation 9 on Wi-Fi. We're not doing Showdown. The rules and the draft is very similar to how the last season of BBL did it, with like Pokemon, Nexus, and all of them guys as well. We actually have a BBL member in this league, which you will see later, and then he will reveal his draft once it is posted. But this will be along with the roster review and the draft analysis for my video, so just giving a little introduction here. And yeah, let's just go down some of the rules, you know? So pretty much you're allowed 9 to 11 Pokemon with 140 points. I decided 140 is more than enough. Originally I was thinking 150, might be a little too much, but considering I didn't want to have a 12 Pokemon limit, little too much of a cap in terms of how many Pokemon you can draft, in terms of what I think as well. Pretty normal draft, like snake style format of drafting. Luckily your boy was placed 3rd place. I know, rigged, I know, it's okay. You know, it is what it is. We actually did a Hunger Games Battle Royale style type of simulator, and that's how we picked the order of our coaches, and your boy survived up until 3rd place. So you know what, it is what it is. The king stays on top for a reason, and I will gladly take 3rd place. This is a league with a cash prize. It is $100 Canadian. Okay, listen, I'm Canadian, I'm not American. Our dollar, it's not great, okay? If you look at exchange between the currencies, I'm telling you right now, it's not the best. We're struggling out here. So it's $100 Canadian. First place gets $75, 2nd place gets $25. And I know some people are like, that creates more of a sweaty environment, more of a try-hard environment. Just understand, it's Canadian, it's not American. It's only a certain sum amount of money, so nobody, you're going to be hopefully breaking friendships and sweating too hard to win this tournament. Pretty much everyone had a fun time drafting. Everyone has a decent teams and different rosters, and everyone's just gonna, you know, have fun, but also want to play hard, try hard to a certain degree, and you know, get that cash. We got to get that moolah. And for me, you know what, I'm a busy guy. I work full time, and at the point of my life, I'm okay with the amount of money I'm making right now, and I can afford to have a bit of fun. And you know what, I want to give back to the community that so graciously accepted me. I just thought might as well invite all the homies in for this awesome draft league. Some of these other rules here, it is open Terra preview, so you're allowed only one Terra captain to draft and to assign as your Terra captain. They can terrestrialize into any type you want. Just make sure you gotta announce to your opponents before you battle them what type you will be. So for Ubers, there's 4 tiers. There's Platinum, Gold, Silver, and Bronze. You are allowed at least 1 Uber and max 2 Ubers. If you get a Platinum Uber, which is 30 points, you're just allowed that Uber. But if you get a Gold Uber, which is worth 26 points, you can get Bronze or Silver. You can also just stick with 1 Gold, which is what I did personally. You can draft 2 Silver Ubers and also a Silver and a Bronze if you like as well. Pretty standard for other rules, 30-minute timer, player timer, 60-minute overall timer, level 100. Typical rules for other stuff like certain items and moves being banned. We are banning Shed Tail, Last Respects. We're banning Moody, Take Heart, Revival Blessing. A lot of stuff that would be maybe popular and used in some other leagues. We're still banning it to some other degree. And some other moves we're allowing. We might make a certain amount of the dock public for others to see and us to follow along with, because I only invited a certain amount of other homies who are not participating in the league to be part of for the ride and to spectate and to support. But yeah, otherwise, like pretty much, this is an upload required league, so I'm making it where every Saturday and Sunday, so the whole weekend, is able to upload. I'm being fairly lenient because other people have commitments to other previous draft leagues that they have been signed up for and committed to, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, that's okay. Some uploads for certain people might be a little early, maybe a little late. I'm not going to be too strict on it because this is the first season of doing it, and I don't want to be hard ass. And all these guys are my homies, and you know what, whatever works for them works for them. Whatever, you know what, it is what it is. We're here to have fun and also just to have a good time, so why not? But like I said, your boy got 3rd overall draft pick out of 12 people. Pretty much to start things off first, our first Pokemon is Rey Mysterio, our Rayquaza. He was a gold tiered Mon Uber, so he's worth 26 points overall. And this, I wanted to draft Rayquaza and use Rayquaza for the longest time. Previously in Ticket Chat's Friends League, I used Giratina, so I was able to use both forms in that Uber League, and that was super fun. Giratina is my favorite legendary of all time, and Rayquaza is a very close second, and I wanted to use him, and now I have the opportunity to do so. Compared to a lot of other Ubers and Mons, his speed isn't the best. It's base 95, so at least it outspeeds a lot of like base 90 Mons, but with the ability to Dragon Dance and set up like that, raises speed really, really nicely. He's got great priority and extreme speed as well. He's a great Stealth Rock setter, and he's got momentum in U-turn. His special attack and basic and physical attack is tremendous at 150 each, which means he could be a fantastic mixed attacker and a wall breaker as well. His base defense is 90, is not terrible, but that 105 HP really, really does help out. And what's great about Rayquaza is he's got airlock, so if a Sun team or like a Rain team or a Sand team wants to come by, nah, son, I'm gonna bring Rayquaza out. He's gonna cancel that shit out, which is great, especially against Sun teams, as I said, for all the Photosynthesis Mons, the future Paradox Mons that take advantage of that. That ain't happening, bruh. That ain't happening. Quadruple weakness to Ice is a little worrisome, but we got things to deal with that. But otherwise, yeah, like I said, he's got a lot of setup. Dragon Ascent is just basically a flying type version of Close Combat and Draco Meteor, signature attack just for Rayquaza, and its Flying Stab as well, which is absolutely fantastic. He's got so much coverage. I don't like it take me all day to talk about it. He's even got some momentum, like I said, for U-turn and for Roar, for phasing as well. Tons of setup moves in Dragon Dance, Sword Stance, Bulk Up, for example, Tailwind to raise our whole team speed, and also to cause a bit of shenanigans. We got Thunder Wave because the Hacks King loves setting hacks, and we got a lot of hacks on this team, I'll tell you that. But that's our first member being Rey Mysterio. Second off, our second member being Deadman Inc. Iron Treads, once again, back for another league. I think this is the 3rd time I'm using him overall. I love this mod. As soon as I drafted Rayquaza, I was looking to see who would be available, who I could get for second. I thought Iron Treads helps out Rayquaza perfectly. You know, I just thought Rayquaza really helps out Iron Treads, and Iron Treads really helps out Rayquaza. The weakness for Iron Treads for like fire, water, fighting, and ground is all covered by Rayquaza, especially with Rayquaza being fully immune to ground, and Rayquaza's weakness in rock, dragon, and fairy is all covered by Iron Treads. It works absolutely perfect. Iron Treads also faster at base 106 speed, which is absolutely fantastic, and a nice decent ground physical attacker as well. Iron Treads has so many good things. He's got knockoff. He's gonna be our main rapid spinner of our roster as well. Another stealth rock setter. He's got phasing and full Volt Switch as well, Iron Defense, like Body Press if he wants to use those types of moves, Ice Spinner to get rid of terrain. Unfortunately, doesn't get Ice Shard like Donphan, but you know what? It is what it is. I have used Iron Treads multiple times before. I've really enjoyed them. I really come to appreciate this mon. At first, I was like, okay, Iron Treads is good, but he's really pulls in his weight. And like I said, 106 speed is fantastic. 120 defense is very good. We just can be hitting a lot of fire type and fighting type moves for too much, but with that base defense along with Iron Defense and Body Press, it's going to be amazing. And 112 physical attack is tremendous, like I said. So we're not going to be taking advantage of any terrain with this guy. Typically, if he wants to bring electric terrain against us, by all means, but more or less we'll be using it kind of basic items on it as well. Booster if we need to, but if like a Rocky Helmet, Focus Sash, Scarf, Life Orb, if we want to, we could basically put anything on this guy. Next up, we got Chase U, baby! We got Chi Yu. Everyone says, okay, listen, picking up Chi Yu in a draft league, come on, Jarl, what you thinking? What are you thinking? I'm thinking some big brain type of shit, bro. Chi Yu, Chase U here is our Terra captain of the season. Now you keep saying, listen, he's a one-trick pony. Yeah, he's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick fucking warhorse, baby. This man hits like a motherfucker. Are you kidding me? 135 special attack with Beads of Ruin, which automatically lowers the opponent's special defense. It's amazing. Base 100 speed, 120 special defense, which covers for his lack of HP when being hit by a special attack. 55 HP is not a lot, let's be honest. Honestly, this mon is going to be great with Open Terra. He's basically like a glass cannon to an extent, right? Chi can only do so much, but his dark type and fire type moves are going to hit so hard if I tear him into dark or mainly fire. He's gonna hit extra hard for sure, but changing up that typing offensively is really gonna work out. His setup isn't that bad either. Flame Charge to buff my speed up, and we also got Nasty Plot to raise our special attack up greatly, since he's part of the Rune Quartet, or I forgot what kind of quartet they're called for the legendaries, but they all get Ruination. I'll use it for certain scenarios. Cheese could be able to hit a lot harder for sure, but if he's up against someone who's like maybe fully specially defensive and we want to sidetracked a bit, we could definitely do that as well. He's got Will-O-Wisp, so another mon that can cause some hacks shenanigans as well. Surprisingly gets screens, which is kind of nuts, as well as taunts. So if we want to, if we want to use him a little bit differently, use him as like, it wouldn't be the best idea to use him as like a utility mon as well, to have like taunt and screens on him. But listen, if we get wacky, we get wacky, man. Like, that's all I'm saying. But no, I mean, like, it's great. Wait, he gives some other weaknesses similar to what Iron Treads has, but we're going to be tearing him pretty much 100% of the time, so we don't have to worry about it too much. Next up, we got Bull Nakano, our Screamtail. First time ever using this mon, I wanted to get a fairy type out of the way. There's a lot of decent fairy types. I could have actually snagged Clefable. I used Clefable a good amount of times already, and I want to use something different. Pretty much the best thing around was a Screamtail, again, other than Clefable. But I mean, like, Screamtail has a lot of good stuff. Like, it's a Protosynthesis Paradox mon, so I can put booster energy on it as well. But it's mainly used for like as a utility mon. Like, base 111 speed is awesome. As you can see, we're getting slightly higher and higher. Like, Chi Yu was base 100, Iron Treads is 106, and then we got a 111 mon right after. Yeah, our speed tiers, this roster is insane. It's the best I've had ever, and we're gonna keep it going. That's all I'm saying. But 111 speed is fantastic. 115 in both special defense and HP is great. Its defense is 99, which, it's a fantastic defensive mon. Its attack and special attack is awful at 65. You can run a Calm Mind, Stored Power Set, like Weakness Policy. It's not the greatest, but, surprisingly, like, Screamtail's coverage is amazing. It gets every move under the sun, it seems like, but in terms of utility, it's great. It's got Wish for recovery. It's got Encore. It's got Stealth Rocks. Oh, great, another Stealth Rocks user. How much hazards are we gonna have? Trick. It's got Baton Pass. Its setup moves is crazy because it gets Bulk Up, Con Mine, both screens as well, Roar for phasing, Stored Power for setup as well, and as I talked previously, more hacks in Thunderwave. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to use this mon. Gives us a decent bulky psychic type as well. But pretty much with this, it rounds out our dragon steel fairy core right out of the way, which I typically like keeping for drafts, of course. It gives us absolute fighting resistance, actually, in case if we don't Terra Chi-Yu, and we have treads out as well. And yeah, I mean, every other weakness that Screamtail has is pretty much covered by every other Pokemon we have so far. Next up, I wanted a fighting type and a flying type. Didn't realize I wanted it together, because at this point I have a Rapid Spinner and Iron Treads, but I wanted a decent Defogger, and I know those are hard to come by. And I'm typically not one to repeat typings. In this case, I am, because we're grabbing El Generico, our Hawlucha. First time I'm using Hawlucha in draft, and you might be saying, Jarl, you don't have any terrain. What the hell are you doing? Hold on. Let me cook, because Hawlucha could do many things. Like Unburden is fantastic, mainly using it for any terrain, if you like activate a seed, or like activate any resist berry, or like one of the herbs if I use like Sky Attack, for example. But Mold Breaker is also fantastic to ignore other Pokemon's abilities. Funnily enough, this is actually the first Mon that has multiple abilities, because Rayquaza has Airlock, Iron Treads has Quark Drive, Chi-Yu is Beats of Ruin, and Screamtail is Photosynthesis. So now we're on to Mons with different abilities that we can use, which is fantastic. Going on to his stats, 118, we're boosting the speed up even more, baby. And that 118 gets doubled with Unburden, which is fantastic. I'm gonna be honest, the rest of his stats, it's not that great. Ultimately, you know what, we're gonna be using him as a physical attacker, so we might be running him like Banded, Life Orb. He gets Defog, and that's what I mainly wanted him for. And to take advantage of everyone, if anyone else brings like a terrain team, it's pretty much like a countermeasure towards that as well. He's got great utility too. Baton Pass, Encore, Roost for some reliable recovery, which is great. U-Turn for momentum, great setup in Bulk Up and Sword Stance. So like I said, if we want to increase our attack, we can for sure. Taunt, which is fantastic. Decent coverage with Poison Jab, Iron Head for those fairy types. And you know what? He's got decent flying stab with Dual Wing Beat, which is super, super nice. And Brave Bird close combat, you know, fantastic stab right there. Overall, he's gonna be a main flying and fighting type. We just got to be wary for those electric and ice types for sure, especially the ice weakness that we got going on with him and Rayquaza. But again, we also have Chi-Yu to deal with that as well. But yeah, I'm excited to use El Generico. Definitely not Sami Zayn. Not correlated in the slightest, by the way. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, super excited to use them. We got a Rapid Spinner and a Defogger to take advantage of, which is going to be super, super nice indeed. Next up, I wanted a bulky water. You know, we got all them bulky waters. And one I haven't used before is Milotic, which is Tony Storm, Timeless Tony Storm, of course. There's a lot of waters available. At this point, I wanted a water and or poison type. And so luckily, since I'm like third place, I'm able to pretty much pick Pokemons back to back. And that was another thing about this draft, is I never really got sniped once. You know, I had, like, thankfully the way I drafted, I had so many options to deal with, and the amount of points I had left remaining, since I only got one gold Uber, I can use pretty much for the rest of my roster to play around with, which is super, super nice. So, you know, went up with Milotic, fantastic abilities, Marvel Scale, most likely going to be doing that. So, hit with a status condition such as like Burn, for example. Our defense gets multiplied by 1.5, especially since our defense is lacking compared to our special defense. Competitive gets our special attack raised by 2 if with any other stat lowered. And we got Q-Charm, which is a chance of infatuating 30% from the opposite gender, but we're not using that. So you know, we'll be using competitive and most likely Marvel Scale, because so far our team is very like specially defensive. So far, and we don't have too many defensive mons, barring Iron Treads, of course. But there's only so much I want him to eat up in terms of physical attacks, at least. But yeah, on my Milotic, base 81 speed, pretty freaking good. We were talking about that special defense previously. 125 is amazing, and that special attack being 100 is very usable indeed. 95 HP, fantastic bulk. 60 attack, we're not really taking advantage of, besides Flip Turn, because this Mon gets Flip Turn and good momentum. And that 79 defense is going to get boosted by Marvel Scale. And one thing I was going to say, with this thing having Flip Turn, pretty much every Pokemon we have has momentum in Baton Pass, Flip Turn, Volt Switch, U-Turn, that's how I want it. Unfortunately, not a lot of priority on this roster, but a lot of momentum, and definitely a lot of stealth rocks users for sure. It doesn't have too much, but you know what? It gets recover, so reliable recovery is fantastic. It gets Scald. It's one of the few mons in this generation that kept Scald, which is awesome because we're gonna get some burn hacks, baby. That's how we like it. It's also got some other recovery and training kiss, which as well, and some alluring voice. So nice, good fairy options there. But it's most likely gonna use like Dragon Tail for phasing, Scald, Ice Beam, that sort of stuff. But yeah, pretty much just to come in against something, eat up hits, you know, just be a bothersome mon to deal with, a nice bulky water. And yeah, I'm excited to use my Melodic for this draft as well. Next up, we got Viscera, our Muck, another mon I wanted to use for a long time. I like a Lowland Muck on Mud a lot better, but like I said, I don't like duplicating a lot of types, especially since we're starting to develop some weaknesses in certain areas. With a Dark and a Poison type, it makes Fairy neutral against us, and I wanted a mon just to, you know, not be fully weak to Fairy. And what's awesome about Muck, it's a grounded poison and it gets Toxic Spikes. At this point, I want a Toxic Spikes user or Spikes user. Unfortunately, we did not get any Spikes users, so we have a lot of Stealth Rocks users, and we got a nice Toxic Spikes user with Muck, as well as a just plain up Toxic user, which is fantastic. Keeping up the theme here with good special defense, 100 special defense on Muck, as well as 105 in HP and attack, which is pretty good. Defense at 75, not that great, and base 50 speed is not good at all. But like I said, the speed tiers are very, very good, so we have that to deal with for sure. Muck's abilities are also great. You know, Poison Touch, have a 30% chance of poisoning our opponent with contact, which is very, very nice. More hacks. Stench, I'm fairly sure Stench has always been legal, so has a chance of 10% to flinch our opponent. And then Sticky Hold, which is fantastic against mons trying to knock us off, because we're not going to lose that item, which is fantastic. Good utility in Muck as well. Knockoff, Haze, Pain Split, Toxic Spikes, Toxic, I talked about before, having Knockoff to be able to use against our opponent to get rid of items, which is great. Haze to get rid of any lowered or heightened stats of our opponents, which is good. We can raise our defense with Asset Armor. If only this thing got like Body Press, for example. But, you know, surprisingly, Muck gets a lot of good coverage. Drain Punch also for recovery, as well as Pain Split. Momentum, if we want to just like sacrifice Muck to lower opponent's stats, is great as well. Top of Momentum, surprisingly gets Shadow Sneak, which is great. It's got Taunt. And yeah, I'm excited to use Muck, adding to this theme of special defense over regular defense. But again, you know, it's nice to get a nice grounded poison at this phase, especially when I had a lot of points remaining. I strategically chose Milotic and Muck, who costed not a whole lot as well, to give me more options in the end game and in the draft to play with my points more and get some better stuff. Which leads into Rosemary, our Zoroark Hisuian, which is awesome. Our Ghost normal, so we got something immune to Rapid Spin. It's fully immune to Ghost type moves, which we didn't have a lot to resist or to be immune anyways, which is great. Illusion is the only ability for Zoroark, which is totally fine. I just basically have to try to figure out and play around this mon in draft. I haven't used it before, but every time I've gone against Zoroark's Hisuian in battles and opponents I've gone up against, it's always worked against me, but I'm not the brightest guy as well, so you know, it is what it is. Adding to the speed factor, base 110 is fantastic. Again, our speed tiers for this roster is nothing but fantastic. 125 special attack, and even base 100 attack is great. Rest of his stats not good as well. Pretty much a glass cannon, and to pretty much rickroll our opponents. And that's pretty much going to be the point of this mon for sure. It gets knockoff as well as Muck, which is great. Memento, talked about before. Another momentum user in U-turn. It's got Will-O-Wisp to cause some more havoc. Pain Split as well. Nasty Plot to set up. Roar for phasing. Taunt as well. Sword Stance. Shadow Sneak from momentum. Trick if we want to trick our items around, which is also good. If any mons are like poison, burn, paralyzed, this along with Hex is going to be super good. And it's got some decent coverage as well. It's got some like psychic type moves, fighting type moves. It's got Grass Knot, which is good as well. But it's going to be hitting definitely super hard with ghost type moves. Yeah, I mean, what's great so far is pretty much, you know, this gives us immunity to ghost, fighting, and normal all in one. which is fantastic. This just makes sure ghost moves don't fully ruin our team at all. Next up, we got Vikingo, our Vikavolt, levitate only for the ability. And you know what? This gives us a Mon that's fully immune to ground type moves, which is one of the typings we definitely struggled with trying to get around for this draft. It's our Sticky Webs Mon, pretty much. I've always wanted to use Vikavolt for draft, mostly for like a Terra Captain, if I ever had the chance to use it for like low tier Terra Captain leagues. But you know, I thought might as well use it now. We're definitely not going to be bringing it to every battle because again, the speed tiers are fantastic. But if we're struggling in certain scenarios or certain matchups, yeah, maybe absolutely. Again, having something immune to ground type moves and then having a nice special attacker, especially when it comes to bug type and electric moves, it's fantastic. It's great. Momentum is fantastic because it gets Baton Pass and Volt Switch. Sticky Webs I talked before, another Thunder Wave user. Otherwise, everything else about it, it's meh. Like, it could set up Light Screen and Iron Defense. Is it really going to take advantage of it that much? I'm not too sure. But yeah, mostly just going to be used as Sticky Webs setter, decent momentum, and then pretty much something to eat up any ground type moves trying to go against us. Next up, we got Friday Night Thwackdown, our Thwacky. We got the Monk, Return to Monkey, and this is going to be our enabler for Grassy Terrain, which, you know what, helps out El Generico, our Hawlucha, which is fantastic, and also helps us with our minor ground weakness, which is fantastic. Well, I say ground weakness, pretty much only for like Earthquake, Bulldoze, some other ground type moves, but still helps us regardless. Base 80 speed, it's not terrible, it's pretty decent. Same with attack is 85. Again, we're not mainly using this to be a full-on speedster, full-on attacker. Enabling Grassy Terrain is what it is. It's got some momentum in U-turn. Talked about some other utility moves and taunt, another knockoff user, which is fantastic, and a fake out for priority as well. It's pretty much just a worse Rillaboom, which someone else drafted that you will see another time. It's pretty much Rillaboom, but at home. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay. It's got Leech Seed as well. We could do that. Grassy Glide. We got priority in that when Grassy Terrain is in effect, and then Drain Punch for some recovery as well. But yeah, most likely going to use like either an Eviolite or a Terrain Extender on this guy. But yeah, any matchups that we're going to have some ground type trouble with, or if we want to bring this guy in with a Grassy Surge with Hawlucha, fantastic. Just another enabler for that for sure. And last but not least, we got well, it's the big show! Our Garganical Garganachi. He is here, the one and only, with Purifying Salt, Sturdy, and Clear Body. All we need is Purifying Salt. It's one of the best abilities in the game. Ghost type damage is fully halved, and also we can't be status, which is great. But you're like, Jarl, come on, what are you doing? Garganical, base Garganical, not Terrid in a draft. Listen, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. At this point, listen, I was struggling with certain typings, and it is what it is. Like, this gives us something to go against, like fire type attacks, which is good as well. And you know what? It gives us another ground weakness with like Muck, Treads, and Chiyu. But let's say we got Grassy Terrain for that. We got Levitate and Fly type mons for that as well. The only thing that we're lacking in this league is a lot of resistances to rocks, which is something we're really going to struggle with for sure. So we'll have to run Boots and then bring Defog with Hawlucha and then Rapid Spin on Treads quite a bit. But I can see we're probably going to be bringing them to quite often. It is what it is. It gives us another super physically defensive Mon so that Treads doesn't have to carry that burden all by himself. Special defense isn't that bad, but compared to that 130 defense, it doesn't compare at all. 100 attack and HP is also fantastic. It gets Iron Defense and Body Press, which is fantastic. It's got reliable recovery with Recover, which is fantastic. It's got one of the best moves in the game, debatably. Assault Cure, which is great. It's just great residual damage. Does more to water and steel types, which is fantastic. Another Stealth Rocks user. Again, no spikes, unfortunately, but this thing does get some pretty good diverse options and coverage with like Ice Punch, Heavy Slam, Zen Headbutt, Thunder Punch, for example. But yeah, pretty much going to be mainly using it for like rocks, recovery, stally type of stuff. And yeah, I mean, overall, I'm happy with our team. Again, going back to the typings, I was struggling with like a flying weakness, a rock weakness, an ice weakness. Yeah, pretty much those other weaknesses. Rocks could be our biggest issue, so we have to be careful with stealth rocks for sure. And just saying that, people are going to bring it against me. But like I said, I'm not looking to win this league. It's the own league I created. Kind of scummy for me to want to win my own league. Even though it'd be great, but I'm not. If that happens, or if I get second place, I'm giving the money to someone else, because this is how I am. But otherwise, I feel great about this roster. This is a roster I'm really excited for. This is probably the roster I'm most excited for out of many ones I've drafted in a while. Well, for this, I had so many options to deal with, and thankfully I had some friends to help me out, pick up and fully decide on some final options. But to be able to have Rayquaza, Treads, Chi-Yu, those 3 mons, who I wanted to use for a while, great. We got Thwackey with Grassy Terrain to help out Hawlucha, which is fantastic. I want to use Muck for a while, same with Vikavolt, and the chance to use Milotic, Zoroark, and Garganacl for this league is going to be great as well. Our speed stats are amazing, great special defensive mons. We got some good defensive mons, and we just got some really hard hitters when it comes to attack and special attack. So overall, I'm feeling great. No spikes, we got Toxic Spikes, Stealth Rocks, and Sticky Webs. Can't be too mad. We got so many momentum users, as I talked before, and so many hacksy moves with like Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, Toxic, Scald. It's gonna be great. And you know what? We got a Rapid Spinner and a Defogger, so I can't be too mad. Can't be too mad. I know your boy's been yapping for a long time. I'm gonna edit this down, but I just want to thank you guys, and thank you for everyone who's been joining this league and the server. I'm very grateful to all of you. You have been awesome. Your boy is gonna be busy with this because this is the first time hosting a league, but thankfully I got some good friends who are helping me mod. Shout out to Stago, D Double Dell, and Frosty Random to help me out with that, and the other friends who've been helping along with that, even though they're not mods. You're awesome. And I want to say personal good luck and have fun to everyone who are participating, and for all those watching, thank you for all the support that hopefully you will be providing us and give us the watch time that we will all need once we put in all this hard effort. I want this to work out. This is mostly an invitational for this season 1. I'm not sure if I'm going to do season 2. I would like to maybe change some rules around, but yeah, anyways, I'm excited to do this, excited to get this going. 2025 is a great new year to start this, so why the fuck not? So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all the love, support. Let's go Torracats. Oski, Weebioski, Wawa, Holy Machina, Torracats, eat 'em raw, and let's have a good bloody new year.